This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about something today that really does affect all of us and those around us, kind of universal. And this thing that we're going to talk about, we are going to connect it to astrology. And this is what she does as the founder and owner of the Whispering Soul. She coaches through astrology, moves your life forward based on the principles of astrology, transits, and so much more. We're talking about your soul, or soul in general, today with Nancy Volante, who is our professional of the year. And Beck, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Steve. I'm always glad to be back. I'm always excited. It's like, wow, a new year and we're still doing this, and I'm very appreciative.
Same. It's funny, when we talked a second before we got on here, we were talking about how some people view, maybe through astrology, a new year. It's really still part of the old year. And I'm trying to get my arms around that. Like, we use it as a starting point, but the universe doesn't know, oh, the January 1st is a new year, so everything changes. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's so true because, we go by the Gregorian, I think that's how you say it, calendar. And actually, the universe or the astrological calendar really is April is the new year. Because in the zodiac wheel, Aries is the new beginning, and that's
Wow.
the first house. So, and a lot of astrologers are saying, like I was telling Steve, I don't particularly work that way, but astrologers are saying, these first 3 months, January, February, March, are still a transition from, we'll go to Chinese astrology for a second, which I know nothing about, except it was the year of the snake in 2025. And now it's the year of the fire horse. So, with that said, snakes in general, they're very transformative. They shed, and they shed what's no longer needed. They shed their skin all the time, which is what we're going to kind of talk about, how we get to deepen our soul connection. So we can't all of a sudden say, okay, that's over. I'm done. From December 31st to January, like you were saying, Steve, to January 1st. So the year of the horse is like, if you've done the work in whatever way that you do it, it's different for everybody, and it's what it is for you. Then now we have the opportunity to ride the horse. You know, ride the horse. The horse wants to take us. But my father was a horse guy. So, he broke horses, he rode horses, he trained horses, he did all this stuff. And he always would say, a horse really needs to trust you from the inside out. Soul, for me, really needs to trust you in order to do what you want him or her to do.
Uh, this past year, I'm talking the last couple of months, I really connected with horses.
Yeah.
So I can't believe you're even talking about this.
I can't either because I wasn't going to, but I love it.
And it really made a mark on me. And I had I got it. I really understand horses, their intelligence, their intuition.
Amazing.
I was away and there was a horse in a field, not great conditions, just tied up there.
Mhm.
And I was at an Airbnb, and I would walk over to the field. I would feed the horse. I would give it some lettuce,
Oh,
and I would twice a day. I would go over there. There's one time it was all, the rope was all rebarb, all tied up. So like I got it all broken
no.
free. But I would look in its eyes,
Yeah.
and I felt, talk about a soul connection. I,
Yes.
and I feel that we nowadays, we just look at them as work animals. We don't see the beauty and power. And just, I'll end what I'm saying here. I can't believe you're talking about horses, because I'm going to actually intentionally go find horses and hang out. I'm serious.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's
But
beautiful.
but the next day I did a past life regression, And it's the first one I ever did. And it was scheduled anyway.
Yep,
What do you think came up in that regression?
the horse.
And
That's
you
beautiful.
could say the mind made it up. All right, you making it up. You're just hanging out with the horse,
No.
made it up. But the emotion that was felt in other situations
Yeah.
surrounding was real. And then I look up on the wall of the Airbnb, and there's a picture of the couple that owns the Airbnb. Big picture. I didn't even notice it because I'm not, it's just I'm not looking for it. It was a horse on a
I
beach.
just got chills.
It's the
I
weirdest
love it.
thing. There's something with me and horses. I need to explore that. But you bring it up.
Steve.
Horses, very
Yeah.
strong
No,
significance.
no. Yeah, there's so I'm sorry. I'm so excited because I want to finish the story. Well, really, like my father loved horses. So that was his companion. And he had this
Mm.
one horse named Champ that nobody could ever ride. It was just a wild horse. Like it just couldn't do it beautiful, you know? And as a kid, I was even afraid of it because he was just so, and so he, it was his best friend. And like, he did a lot with him. But one day he was in the barn. We had a barn that was not by our home that we were, but it was a further away. And he wasn't present. He was thinking about something else, and he got kicked.
By champ?
Kicked by Champ. He got kicked in the leg, and ended up being in the hospital. Broke his femur, blood clot. It was a big deal.
Wow.
And he said it wasn't his fault. It was mine because I wasn't present. He
Hmm.
couldn't feel me. He didn't feel safe. He didn't know what I was going to do. Like horses really want to know what you're going to do, the direction, the
Yep.
feeling, the insight for them to be in their body. And when they are, they're incredibly powerful.
I get it. Now I get
Wow,
it.
I wasn't intending to talk about this at
Wow.
all.
But
This is,
we're talking about a soul connection,
yeah,
and I felt a connection to this animal. So did your father.
yes,
Um, I'm just going to say this because I need to say this, but you
please.
brought back a memory when I would hang out with my father with my twin sister. We
Oh, you're a
couldn't have,
twin. That's
we were
right.
like three. That was our thing. We would go see. He would take us see horses, and we would feed him sugar cubes. And I just got when you said your father, I got that visual. Just came back
That
to me.
is so beautiful. See, that's really healing. And this is why the soul, when we think about our ego a lot, and we won't talk about that today. I want to just talk about the soul. But when we start thinking about the soul, these memories come up, these connections come up because the soul is about our growth and the lessons that we endure and have throughout our life. So the soul is our long-term growth and it's our life themes,
I want to ask this,
please.
and I think it's for others too. What is the soul? What is our soul?
Our soul is our essence of why, my perspective, everybody's maybe is different. Why do we come in? The soul never dies. I don't think it's always, this spark of intriguing, longing for consciousness and growth. So we do it again. You had a past life regression about a horse. So how does that integrate into what you are wanting to learn and grow in your life today? What are those lessons? You know, um, and the soul challenges us to shape our maturity. That's
Hmm.
what I feel as I was reflecting. I think there's much more because it's so expansive. Um, but in essence, I think it is our essence that we carry with us forever.
I've heard the same, and I believe it. The soul never dies. Do you feel that when somebody passes, that the energy from them, maybe it's the energy from their soul, is still around us?
Yes,
Me too.
I do.
I really do. And
I do.
it's based on validation and evidence. It's not just some, oh, I just figured I think that. No, I feel
No,
that. I feel that.
I have another story about the soul. Wow, this is so great. And it's so interesting today when we talk about this transit. why family is coming up. So when my mother passed away, speaking about the soul, I was in my childhood home and I was in her bedroom and I was, just kind of like going through things a little bit and just kind of looking around and, grieving, crying. And she had a radio, a radio that you turn on, not like from the old kind. And the radio came on, Steve.
By itself.
The radio came on by itself, and it was looking like it was like how when you get that uh looking for a station, the
Static.
sound static. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it came on, and I had to go turn it off. And I thought to myself, wow, that was for a second, it was a communication like, I'm still here.
Mm.
There is a communication that can happen because that's soul.
As you're
Yeah,
speaking,
thank you for that.
this is really weird.
Woo!
As you're speaking, I'm getting visuals too of my mom who passed in my childhood home, which is coming up next month, be 7 years. Hmm. And she had a radio in the kitchen under the counter, which I installed like years before. And I worked at a radio station for about 10 years. And she wasn't able to hear it because it was just a little too far. And I was about to start at a news station that she could hear very easily. And she passed like a week before. And I always remember, like,
Oh,
I wanted her to be able to listen to me, on her radio. It just as you said that, I had these visuals of being same exact thing you said, like going through her stuff and things like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's just so beautiful. So the soul is something that really, as we're talking, and we have these synchronicities that we're talking about today between us and what soul is.
But
It's
okay, but
nourishing.
wait a
It's
second here.
nourishing.
Wait a moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We're two different people. We're in
yeah,
two different states. We,
yeah.
barely know each other.
Yeah,
I'll say that. We made a soul connection,
exactly.
right?
And that's what's so beautiful about, you know, the human condition and being with other people. Because, I got to say, there's a lot going on in our world right now that we're polarized from soul connection, possibly,
Mm.
and those soul connections, however small they are, they're so important for our growth. Challenging our maturity. Where do we need to express ourselves more? Where do we need to love more? Where do we need to connect more? Where do we need to believe that when we do have a memory come up, that could be a communication from another soul that's not in this, timeline.
Hmm.
So it gets bigger.
Do you feel we're all connected
I do.
in,
I
in
do.
some way?
Yeah.
Like the Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees or whatever separation of
Um,
that, whatever that
yeah,
is.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, that somehow, if you spoke enough, we talked enough, just a random person, stranger, whatever it may be, there would be a connection. I had a connection I shared before with somebody on the phone in a situation I was in this morning. Um, Long story short, somebody sideswiped my Jeep in front of my place.
Oh,
Happens, accident, whatever.
yeah.
Now I'm calling an insurance company and it's a challenge. And where I live, the management there, it's a little bit of a challenge of communication. Here's the soul connection. The woman at the insurance company I called, mine, could be, there's tons of people working in that office. She lives in the same complex.
See, I mean, this is like,
What are the chances? And
yeah,
she gets what I'm saying. And she
yeah.
just texts me before. She says, make sure you send me a copy of the police report. I got you. I'll take care of it. Like, we're like, you're my neighbor. Like, what are the chances? Like,
I
and,
mean,
and I need her. Like, I need her help.
yeah. And that's consciousness. And that's what astrology can help connect. And, working with the soul in astrology, Steve, I'd work with the moon, I'd work with Saturn, I'd work with the nodes, right? through the wellness angle, I would work with our healing patterns.
Sure.
You know, what doesn't serve us anymore? What keeps us in this holding pattern that we can't feel what you just felt and be conscious of it? Like, wow, this is real. This uplifts me to move forward. And our resilience. Our soul gives us resilience and compassion,
Mm, without a doubt. But you
without a
need to
doubt.
recognize it because
Yes.
do you do this like after a while? These, you're plugged in these connections that happen. Oh, wow, hey, that was cool. All right, I got off the phone and she lives like 2 streets over, and she's with the insurance. Great. But sometimes I'm like, I gotta take like in this conversation, I'm like, what the heck just happened there?
Yeah. You know, it's uplifting in a sense that it takes you out of your ego for a moment and takes you to a place where there's maybe more faith, more hope, more understanding, and these are glimpses. And that's why, mindfulness, consciousness, no matter where you are in your journey to wholeness, it matters. It matters.
Mm.
Everything matters. Whether it's negative or positive, there's trauma. Like, why do we have trauma? Why can't we just be this soul essence that connects? Because then we don't learn.
Well, I believe it's also if you if you always had happiness and joy, everything's great, happy,
Right.
you wouldn't know it's happiness and joy because you'd have to
Yeah,
experience the opposite of that to know what it is.
100%. Well said, Steve. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. And some people, their way of having to learn and stretch themselves to get to a soul level is really intense, right?
Mm.
It's really intense. But my question always is, well, my question, because I have the Sagittarius rising, is I'm always asking, why? 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 So I guess why? Well, let me change that. I'm going to ask you the question. Do you think people feel their soul in their darkest moments?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do too.
I had to think about that.
I know.
I had to transport back to one of those moments for a mental second, but I do. And somebody said to me, somebody who's very intuitive, this is years ago, that when you're at your lowest point, you are most humble. And I believe that when you are most humble, that's when you make that soul connection.
Mm, I love that. When you're at your most humble
Your lowest point, that's your most humble
and
because
most vulnerable, right?
yeah, yeah, which is maybe you connect with your soul or you feel it finally, or you feel something but you're not really sure what it is. Maybe it's because you need to.
Yeah. So when we feel all these things, it's like I think that, for me and my work, the astrology and the wellness coaching comes in to ask people these questions. Well, how do we get in touch with your resilience in order to find your place where you want to thrive, express yourself? We're talking about the soul. We're talking, if I was going to do this in astrology, we're talking about the moon. So it's the language of your emotions, it's the landscape of your psychological um, being, how you relate to the outer world. How do you relate to the public through your soul? So it's all consciousness. So I believe there's another thing. That's what they call the dark night of the soul.
What's that?
So the dark night of the soul is kind of what you were talking about, Steve, when you get to your lowest point and you don't know where to turn, you're lost. That's what they say, and I've been through it, and you've been through it too. We really have. We just didn't label it, and it's okay not to
Hmm.
label.
Hmm.
How do we get out of that, and what do we bring with us? What does the soul give us as medicine? to take with us, to come out of that dark night of the soul back into the light with resilience, with compassion, with an understanding of maturity. How did I grow from this?
Do you feel, Nancy, that you feel that at that dark moment because it's relationships are great, have a partner, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, all that's great. But when you get right down to the pure essence of it, at that moment, you got you, but you
Yeah,
forget you got you. And that's a reminder you got you, and you will always take care of you if you allow that to happen.
that's really beautiful. You will always take care of you if you allow that to happen.
Like, think of it.
Beautiful.
Nobody is going to love you more or should than yourself. Nobody is going to know exactly what you like and love than you. Nobody's going to understand you better than you. But some, and that's maybe that's the soul, and we lose touch of that through all the distractions and everything going on there. But when you take those moments and you ground and you maybe take a little time for yourself, take a walk, whatever, you realize that, oh, it's you got you. You'll always have you.
Yeah, and that is so beautiful. If that can be something that somebody can do, because oftentimes, not often, but sometimes I'll say we're afraid to do that because we've cut ourselves off from soul. So when we cut off ourselves from soul, where do we go? We go to ego. When then we're in the mind, and then we're in, okay, what's my identity? I got to have an identity. What are my personal traits? Your habits, your fears, your defense mechanisms keep you from connecting with that soul. And we need to go through that
Mm.
because we do have an ego. And the ego, we could, but we want to have an ego that's well placed within our soul.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny that
Right?
the word ego is always, from childhood negative. Oh, look at that one. They got an ego. Yeah. That one's full of themselves. No, we all have egos. We need to have an ego. It protects us at times. Just,
Yes.
I guess you don't want your ego to get out of check. We're just about out of time.
I can't
Uh,
even believe it, Steve. I could have went another hour.
I know,
Oh,
like,
wow.
like
We didn't get to
seriously.
the transit today, and that's okay. I'll just say it real quick. Sun is conjunct Mars today and for about 5 days. So that's an energy. If you look into what's happening in the world, it can go one way, it can go ego, what's happening in the world. Won't talk about that. Or it can go into yourself, like you were talking about, Steve, determinations, patience, because it's in Capricorn. Let me have morals, let me have values, let me walk up the mountain to see where my soul takes me.
Love it. Where my soul takes me. Hmm.
Where my soul takes me. Maybe I should write that down for myself too.
I'm just, I got post-it notes everywhere, and I'm like,
Wait a
it's
minute.
almost like, something drops out of the sky for a reason. Where my soul takes me.
Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
writing that down. I'm going
Because
to meditate.
when you think of it, that's the pilot. That's who's
Yeah.
piloting you,
Yeah.
or what is the soul.
Yeah. And then the ego just needs to have self-awareness, needs to have emotional regulation. And that's what, if I can give any guidance today with the sun conjunct Mars, watch how you react, watch how you get triggered, and see if you can respond and see if you can react in a different way. Because that's Mars. It's like, you don't want to pull the trigger too fast with Mars.
I get it.
Yeah.
And my first thought was that accident to my
Yeah.
vehicle sideswipe. Well, when I first got the phone call, I'm like, oh, what? I mean, kid, it's sitting there and somebody hits it. Whatever. But you know, I guess a normal reaction, I minimize, all right, whatever, we'll
Sure.
take care of it. Um, Older vehicle, but sentimental value. But then don't need to react there because of the soul connection with the person that lives in the complex that works in the insurance company. So she understands, like, you know,
So you got that support from the outside world, and you saw that because you had self-awareness. You had some confidence that I can do this. And The big thing with the sun and Mars today conjunct is self-regulation, everyone, me
Yeah.
included. Woo.
Keep it in check. Keep
Keep
it
it
in
in
check.
check.
The
Okay,
whisperingsoul.net. That's how we find you, right?
that's it.
Yeah. Always wonderful talking with you. By the way,
Wow.
I want to share too. Got a question? Reach
Please.
out here to instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. No matter what it is, whether it's about a transit, stuff we
Yeah.
talk about, anything woo, if you will. We'd love to hear it.
Oh, that's great. Steve, so glad to be back. So glad to be back with you. And this was very inspiring. Thank you for all your insights.
And yours. And let's see where our souls take us.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Nancy. We'll talk soon.
Yep, you bet. Take care, Steve.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.